es la voz de LA. It's like una galaxiana, come and kick it with us. I bring the bossa nova beats and talk the club that we love. Another year to adjust, and Will Kuntz we all trust. 6 titles in the cabin, tell a hater shut up. Mirar al horizonte con el cielo morado. Llegamos al estadio como siempre lo hago. Es la nueva temporada, ya cumplí 30 años. Rezándole a San Pequi que no dé al travesaño. Que repartan los balones y no sean tacaños. Que regrese el contraataque y que le hagamos daño. Un saludo para Robert, hermanos ecuatorianos. Que la táctica de Ananda nunca sean en vano. Si se trata de mi gala me levanto temprano. Ver el fur en verano, en el pasto tumbado. Siempre estoy a tu lado, en cualquier resultado. Vamos Galaxy, on top is where I gotta be. Chilling in the canopy, staging like a winery. Goles during rivalries, brew from the refinery. Only want the finer things, we letting you know. Lo que pasa en la galaxia, ready, let's start the show.
Hello, hola, and buenas, and welcome to another episode of La Cuna Galaxiana, a podcast always made with love for all you LA Galaxy fans out there, wherever you may be, and all you MLS sickos out there as well. Welcome to the party. Today, finally, G's, the LA Galaxy has finally won a match, and Sad Fool Hours is hereby officially canceled, at least for the next 2 weeks, as your LA Galaxy defeated Real Salt Lake 2-0 at home on Saturday, May 31st, on a Star Wars night for the ages. The win snaps the Galaxy's epic 16-match winless run, and it was the Galaxy defense who had been hammered all season who led the way. The shutout they produced set the tone and allowed the Galactic attack to get the goals that would bring all 3 points to LA for the first time this year. Soccer and 60 co-host Tim Kolacz will be here to celebrate LA's first victory of the year with us. We'll break down the defense's good performance, Novak Micovic's emergence, why Matheus Nascimento should be starting, and look at how the G's finally put together a 90-minute performance. Or did they? Plus, it was a night of firsts in LA as the G's got the win. All that and more coming up on tonight's episode of La Cuna Galaxiana. I'm one of your co-hosts, Rob Halone. You can catch my written work at the Sporting Tribune and at Extra Time Talk. And of course, since I'm here, ya saben cómo es el papá de Natita, el yerno guapo y gitano perdido, sitting in the winner's chair for the first time this year. Anandita Kirana, ¿cómo estás, papá?
Oh man, I'm so glad you're not a Scrooge anymore. This is great. Bringing in the energy from the top, Papa. Bringing in that energy from the top. Yeah, that's right. I mean, look.
See what 3 points does. Come on.
And that's all we asked for, man. It's just a measly little 3 points. The first 3 points, by the way, Papa, at home in the MLS regular season in 238 days. And I told, shout out to Mr. Provino, who was outside there and at halftime. He showed me his phone with 238, and I said, nah, Papa, today that's going to be 0. And boy, did it happen. Boy, did it happen. But think about that, man. 238 days. Golly, that's, I mean, yes, we were in the playoffs. There was, a lot of time left, but that's just not good, right? Like, if you think about it holistically now, take a step back. We're happy with the 3 points. This is elated Foo Hours right now. This is not sad Foo Hours anymore. But in the grand scheme of things, it's still not a great look. But we go into this 2-week break a little bit happier as Galaxy fans. You talked about this really important thing last pod, which is I talked about this being sort of a stress relief valve for the team. And you talked about this from the fans' perspective. Like, the fans have gone through a lot this season. So it's finally nice to go into not being able to see the team for a couple of weeks on a high, right? And with 3 points. Sure. So that's
Joseph said the same damn thing. He was really happy to do it for him.
Yeah, exactly. And GCam there put in baby steps in the chat.
Yeah.
So
it is only 7
points. It's just a step forward, man. It's just a step forward. But no, man. I mean, obviously, like there was the word bandied around relief, but I'm just gonna say my one word, just getting right into it, Papa, is finally. I mean, we even said it. We even put it on the thumb of this show, on the graphic there. It's finally to a lot of things. We'll talk about a lot of those things. A couple of them being, a couple of guys got their first goals. We finally, got a clean sheet, and we got a little slice of luck,
Yeah,
which we're going to talk about,
yeah,
which we haven't got. The bounces didn't go our way until this game. So finally, it has happened to me. 3 points.
Okay. Who was that? CC Pennis? Ooh, that's the banger right there.
That's a deep cut.
Yeah, that is a man from my childhood right there. Yes, throwback. Anyway, throwback, just like the Galaxy getting a win. It, like Ananda said, it had been so long, and they reset that count to 0. For me, Ananda, honestly, like it was the first thing I thought was business as usual, because they didn't play that much differently than a lot of the other games that they've played in. Only, like you said, they got a little bit of a slice of luck. They didn't commit any mistakes. So that's probably the big thing. Like if there is a difference, it's that. But like for the most part, it's business and usual as usual. I asked Maya about this. I asked Joseph about this and Greg, and they didn't really do anything that different in training. Just they've been talking about those margins a lot, and look what happens when you don't make mistakes and give yourself a chance to win. You do. Anyway, we're winning every day because y'all are chilling with us. Thank you guys so much for hanging out in chat. We are on the road to 600 subscribers. We are super close. We're just a shade under 580. With y'all's help, we will get there. Keep telling your loved ones about this humble little pod. If you're digging it, go ahead and share it with them. Show them you love them. If you got love in your heart, let it out. Super chats are now available as well. If you got something to get off your chest, if you're just so excited about the win that you got to say something, go ahead and pop in with that super chat. Or if you have a question for our guest coming up, Tim, go ahead and hit up that super chat as well. And of course, Ananda, he does this thing called Los Galácticos with El Profe Alex Ruiz. Episode 5 is out. It's all about the Galaxy's midfield, which is, starting to come together. Hopefully, I've said that a couple times this season already, but you know what? I'm really liking what I'm seeing in these past couple of games from Lucas Sanabria. But anyway, episode 6 is due on its way.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead and check it out. You got a sub. For you guys to know when this episode 6 drops, you guys need the sub. And of course, we're going to have this guy back here pretty soon, but you guys can catch my episode, my breakaway episode with Michele Giannone. I did an interview with him, and he gave me his impressions on the Galaxy. It's been a couple of weeks. It'll be interesting to see what he thinks after everything has gone down with the win, a couple weeks post. And if he still has some of those same opinions. But Ananda, you got to do your thing, man. You got to do your thing, and then we gotta hit it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you've been setting these up pretty well. So of course, Rob, like you said earlier, tell your tias, your tios, your elotero, the guy at the bodega down the street. Like everyone for sure, spread the love, because the G's finally did it. They finally got 3 points.
Or hit that like.
Or hit that like as well, guys. That's gonna go a long way in supporting the show. So, papá, all I gotta say is, como siempre, antes de olvidarme, buenos días, tardes o noches, y bienvenidos a otro capítulo de La Cuna Galaxiana, el capítulo número 198. That's two away from 200.
Woo!
And like Rob teased at the end of the last show, we got a very special 200th episode for you. Yeah, and that's it. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, man. We do have an incredible guest for 200. We have an incredible guest for 199. We're bringing the heat for y'all. With
201.
him. Yeah, man. It's going to be a great time. I'm just I can't tell you who 200 is yet. I'm gonna keep on slowly teasing you, drawing you in a little bit, y'all. But like I said last time, you guys know him, you love him. I'm gonna drop you a hint. His nickname is that of an animal. We're gonna keep it moving on some announcements here. Here at the show, La Cuna Galaxiana, we would like to wish you a happy Pride Month. The Galaxy did the same. For all our G's in the LGBTQ community, happy Pride Month. We are celebrating at the parade with you next week. Well, I am anyway. So guys, congrats to Dejan Jovalic. He and his partner welcomed a baby into the world a short time ago. So we have a Bishop Jr. basically, or I mean, that is a precious picture right there, man. I wonder how good that baby is going to be at chess, Ananda, or how many goals that baby is gonna bang in, man. So anyway, congratulations to Dayon and his family. Once a G, always a G. Not only that, but he has always been super supportive of the G's community, even after leaving SKC. So
yeah,
we wish him and his family the very best. Ananda, we don't really ever get to do cool stuff, just like giving back like in such a nice way to the community that gives us so much and supports us and is in chat all the time. But I really feel like this is one of those marquee things that all you G's are going to enjoy. Well, not all you G's, two lucky G's, but I'll explain. Courtesy of a fan of the show, man, just thank you. You know who you are at the smooches. We love you. This fan of the show donated 2 Picnic on the Pitch tickets, entrances, whatever they're called. Ananda, is that what you would call them?
Tickets, sure. Tickets,
sure.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So
event passes.
Exactly. So rather than make Ananda take me on a date to Picnic on the Pitch, we are sending you guys, 2 of you anyway, to celebrate our 200th show. We're going to celebrate and send you to Picnic on the Pitch. So if you guys don't know what this is, here's the picture. If you guys are listening on audio, it's a catered lunch filled with beverages and treats. And you get to chill and eat and watch the team train, which is pretty awesome. I started thinking like, cuidado los pelotazos, but you just gotta, I guess, just make sure and be aware that you're not going to get hit with the ball. But like I said, this is something that any G out there can go ahead and enter. This event is on Sunday, June 8th at 10 a.m. So make sure that if you do enter, that you're going to be available. How to enter. So, Ananda, would you like to break this one down here, or should I take a crack at it and then you just tell me how much I was terrible at it?
Go for it, man. Everyone on YouTube, I've got a graphic there on the screen, but go ahead, Rob. Pretty simple. Only 2 steps. 2 steps. 2 steps, and 2 steps and a click.
I would call it 3 steps, but it is pretty easy. So, how to enter in this Picnic on the Pitch giveaway to celebrate Lacuna's 200th show. You're going to send an email to lcgraffle@gmail.com with the subject Picnic 2025. I mean, honestly, if you send an email and it's not quite Picnic 2025 in the subject, we'll still probably see it. We'll still probably get it. But yeah, I mean, do your best, y'all. Body of the email, throw in your name and a screenshot of your subscription to this podcast. That is your official entrance into this event. So go ahead and throw that email, name, screenshot, send it to lcgraffle@gmail.com, and you're officially entered. We'll go ahead and make this drawing on Thursday, June 5th. With our special guest that night, Lex Avila, aka LA Galaxy 310, and we're gonna go ahead and choose that with the randomizer. This closes at 5 p.m. on Thursday, June 5th. So go ahead and enter. And it's open to even folks that are already subscribed. Just go ahead and send that screenshot that you're subscribed, and we'll get your entrance in there. May the odds be ever in your favor, and good luck. Ananda, did I go ahead and cover it well enough?
Golf clap. Excellent.
Yes. I'm telling you, man, like when I go ahead and learn how to read and write, it's over for y'all. So, but it is gratifying to see, like I said, I'm really excited to be able to give this experience to a couple of G's out there, because, man, they give us thrills and experiences every time we jump on. So thank y'all. We are on show 198, like Ananda said, just 2 away from 200. Your hint for that show is, that guest for show 200 is his nickname is that of an animal. So go ahead and be here for show 200. Getting to some news here, some former G news, actually. Ex-Galaxy player Efrain Alvarez. Oh, man. He's slow, stunting on him. Signs with Chivas de Guadalajara. The former G earns his dream move from Tijuana to Chivas. He had stated on a couple of occasions that his family was a Chivas family. So congratulations to him for ending up with his dream move. I mean, he had a really good 2025 half season. I don't know if it was the clausura or apertura that just ended, Ananda. I believe it was apertura, but for players under 23, Ananda, he balled out. I mean, he was first in successful crosses, first in chances created, first in assisted XG, and first in ball progression. So, I mean, I'm just asking myself, where was that Efrain here when you know he was at the Galaxy? But it is what it is. Anyway, congratulations to him. Like I said, East Los Angeles represent. Remember, guys, the Galaxy sold Alvarez to Tijuana for $2.2 million, which represented great business at the time, and I think it's still great business as well. So everyone's happy. He's flourishing, gets his dream move being talked about for the national team, and Galaxy got that $2.2 million. So congratulations to Efra. Keeping it moving here. Damn, this one hurts for anybody that's a supporter of MLS. The CONCACAF Champions Cup final was last night, Sunday, and it was just a decimation, a shellacking. Cruz Azul took out Vancouver Whitecaps 5-0, but really this one was over within 28 minutes. I mean, the Whitecaps just looked absolutely shell-shocked. It was 2-0 within that first 28 and 4-0 at the half. Congratulations to La Máquina Cementera. I mean, they just played absolute, just brilliant football against this team and just put them out of their misery early.
Vancouver also were very, very sloppy, very sloppy. They gave that game away in the first half. To be fair, it was over after, like you said, 28 minutes.
Yeah, and they chose the absolute worst time to have their worst game of the season. Oh, hold on. Timeout. Eddie Nags says that shout out to birthday boy Edgar Nags. Oh, happy birthday, Edgar Nags. We love you, man. Friend of the show, Edgar Nags. I hope you had a beautiful day surrounded by friends and family. And shout out to the Nag Boys. You guys, of course, can check out those episodes that we did with the Nag Boys, the simulcast on the back catalog. So go ahead and check those out if you would like. The Champions Cup was decided. It was a blowout, but one that was a nail biter was this Club World Cup play-in. It was LAFC versus Club America, and Club America came real hard to BMO. I mean, it was basically like 60-40 in favor of Club America fans, who ended up going home sad because despite being up 1-0 for most of this second half, LAFC comes up with an 88-minute goal courtesy of Igor Jesus to make it 1-1, and then Denny Bouanga gets the game winner in the 115th minute. Now LAFC will be heading off to the Club World Cup. Well, they are going to be in Group D with Chelsea, Tunis, and Flamengo. They open the tournament versus Chelsea on Monday, June 16th at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. VCFC, they beat Real Monarchs 4-3 in penalties, and that was after ending tied 3-3 in regulation. They are still in first place after 12 games played, 23 points. They have a 7-4-1 record, 1.92 points per game. And now they play Portland Timbers 2 next away on June 11th at 7:30 in the quest to continue at the top of the Western Conference table in MLS Next Pro. And finally, congratulations to Lucas Sanabria for making MLS Team of the Match Day bench. That's courtesy of him getting his first MLS and Galaxy goal. And speaking of firsts, and this is the theme of the night because the Galaxy had a bevy of firsts, but this is also a first for us, and hopefully not the last
First of many.
Yeah, hopefully it's the first of many. It's the first time this guest has come to hang out with us and talk some Galaxy soccer. And I apologize to him if I don't pronounce his last name correctly. But please welcome to the show one of the hosts of the always entertaining Soccer and 60 podcast, of which I've been an occasional co-guest, Tim Kolacz. Tim, welcome to the show. Thank you so much, man.
Hey, gentlemen, thanks for having me. And you did a damn fine job of that there, Rob. So you're good to go, baby.
Nice,
And
man.
congratulations early for your 200th episode here in a few days, man. That's awesome.
Hey,
Thanks,
thank
Tim.
you.
Thanks for coming on.
Hey,
I
Amanda.
honestly-
Hey, buddy.
I honestly don't know how we haven't gotten canceled, Tim. It's just been really weird. I mean, you think we would have said something by now, but we're still here. But yeah, thank you so much for being here with us. We do appreciate it. I mean, we've hung out on the interwebs here, talking Galaxy on Soccer and 60. It's wonderful for you to join us here. We do something here called one word match reaction, which is basically your one word match reaction to Galaxy's last game. And man, it was that incredible 2-0 victory over Real Salt Lake.
My one word would be opportunistic.
Okay.
They were very opportunistic when they had the chance, and Micovic makes that save in the third minute. He doesn't make that save on Gozo. This thing is a completely different match.
Yeah, absolutely. Greg spoke about that in the post-match presser, and I mean, Micovic saves the Galaxy right there. I mean, we've spoken on this very pod about how this is a team that quite often has faced adversity this season and met it, and afterwards has dropped its head when it hasn't gone their way. It had the potential to be that, and it wasn't. So when this happens, when Micovic makes that save and gives the team that kind of that springboard, that lifeline, they go on to win. Did you see the win coming? I mean, at any point were you like, oh, they're going to get this one?
So we've been talking about it on Soccer and 60 a few times, and Philly, who's an LAFC homer, has actually mentioned it a few times. He said that the Galaxy were primed to turn the corner and start having some really good run of form, and they have. It just hasn't shown up on the win column. So did you see this coming? Yeah, it had to come within the next couple of games. But to get it at home and to get it the way they did was really a big turning point, I think, for the season. Are they going to make the playoffs? Tough one. But I think this is definitely going to put them on the right track for the rest of the season, and maybe put some of those Vanny haters to maybe calm down a little bit.
Bad chance of that, Tim.
Well, because people have wanted Vanny for years, though. I mean, but when you look at it, Vanny did take him to the MLS Cup last year, and so you got to give the guy a lot of credit for that.
Yeah.
And
we definitely do.
And then what you do is when you lose 50 goals from last season, you don't have Dejan Jovalic, right? You don't have Pooch right now. You don't have Bogusz. You don't have all these guys, and it's like, what's going on? You got to get goal scoring from somewhere. And Peck, I think, my opinion, was that he was trying too hard. Now he's got Paintsill at full speed, and he's got Ramirez, who's got a couple of goals, and Royce, after the game against LAFC, he looks like he's got 30-year-old legs instead of 37-year-old legs.
Yeah, no, we're hoping that Royce makes his comeback quickly. I mean, that was the concern. I mean, even after the third game, he told us in the presser that he wasn't really used to that anymore. And in the very next game, we see him, kind of just go down. And Ananda alluded to the fact that he made a couple of really good runs to get into space, and his teammates didn't reward him with the ball, and he ends up getting injured on one of these plays, and it's just unfortunate for him. Hopefully he comes back quickly. What was the key to this match? I mean, they win 2-0. You know, I was telling Nanda at the top. I didn't really think they did all that much different. For you, what was the key? Do you think they did anything differently?
No, I think I think the opportunity arose and they took advantage of it when they did. You have the first goal is very opportunistic. You have the dummy to yourself, and then you just have Sanabria just hauling down the line. And this is after John Nelson. John Nelson pushes all the way up the field to the 18 to make that deft pass. So they, I think they did enough to win. Did they play a great game? God no. They give up 20 shots to a mediocre RSL team. 2 of them hit off the post. At least 7 or 8 of these things are from space. 3 or 4 of them go ripping right over the crossbar. I think the opportunities came, they took them. The Paintsel goal was an absolute thing of beauty, but even that had a touch of luck to it, right?
Yeah.
It bounces off the defender's both his legs,
Comes right back
comes right back to him, and he just buries it like Joseph does. But I think the opportunities arose; they took care of them, and when they had to make one of 4 saves on frame, Micovic was there to make them.
And it was big. It's a far cry from the Micovic that we saw at the beginning of the year, but of course, he really can be blamed because then in retrospect, we didn't know this at the time. Hindsight was what is that? Hindsight is 2020 or 50. What is that? What is that?
2020. Yep.
Yeah,
2020.
We didn't know this at the time, but I mean, Micovic gets the first 3 starts of the year. He isn't really up to it. He loses his place. And like I said, everybody thought at the time it was Micovic, and it 16 games in now, we clearly see that there was deeper problems. But did you see that start coming and then just the prolonged, just misery, just like the pain that the Galaxy had to endure? I mean, losing in every which way possible. I mean, being up 2-0 against Philly, losing to SKC without a shot on goal. I mean, did you see any of this coming?
Did I see it as bad as it has been? No. Was there going to be a little bit of a hangover? Yes. Did you see a lot of goal scoring go away? Yes. Were they not going to have Pooch until mid-July at the earliest? We knew that was coming as soon as the semifinal was over. Right?
Jesus, I hope mid-July. That would be
it would be the greatest comeback ever if it was mid-July, but it's maybe looking mid-August, but I'm not in the rehab room with them. Did I see it being this bad? No. Did I see them not being at the top of the pack? Absolutely. Because you can't give up that type of goal scoring. You can't give up that type of camaraderie where you go throughout the playoffs and you go in to the final without arguably your best player, and you go in and you win it for Pooch. And then he's not there at the start of the season. Then you have 3 or 4 key guys. I mean, look at what Marky Delgado is doing for LAFC. We have him on and it pains me, and finally I got over it, but we have him on our best 11 every week, basically. Marky is just killing it for LAFC. You take away somebody like that, how do you not have a reasonable drop-off, if not, as we're seeing, severe drop-off to now we're, better part of halfway through the season, and they're sitting on 1 win. Now, they're not really truly that far out of a playoffs, but
nice.
But the reality is, my expectation for the rest of the year, do they get to 30, 35 points? Maybe. You've got there was 17 games left, right? You've got to be winning 51. Basically every game, and right now the longest win streak in MLS this year is what, 3 out of anybody? 4?
Oh yeah,
maybe?
We'll get to all this, Tim.
Sorry, I'm cutting off the lead. Sorry, Rob.
No,
No,
no, it's all good because we have
we'll do a
something
little
that-
math later.
Yeah, well, we'll do a little math, and we also have a little video. I don't know if you've seen it, but for all you Sasha Kleshchin lovers out there, we have a special little video for you. So is that the problem with the Galaxy then? Is they've lost key contributors? You did mention camaraderie. I mean, I went down this little rabbit hole where I read that Julian Aude's mom was mentioning online how they don't really have that same camaraderie in the locker room this year that they did last year. So I mean, is it that, or are there other problems as well?
Well, I think the biggest thing is you don't have a dog in the locker room. I don't think you have a big dog. I think there's a couple of guys that are trying, Yamane's trying, Yoshida's trying, Peck is definitely trying, but you don't have somebody coming into the locker room, and it can't be coach. It can't be Greg Vanny. He can't come in and yell and scream at the guys. It's got to come from internal. It's got to come in from one of the key contributors. It's got to come in from like a Paintsill. It's got to come from somebody that's playing every day. And he's got to come in and just say, look, you guys have to figure this out, and here's how you're going to do it. You're going to follow my lead. And I'm not saying they're not working their tails off, because they are. They're professional athletes. They're getting out after it and grinding every day. But you don't have that one key dude in the locker room just to come in and say, get on my back. We're going to go win this thing. I think Pooch had a lot of that last season. I think Paintsill had a lot of it. What I really think is quietly, I think Joveljic had a lot of that. I think people would look at him and he's just out grinding every day.
Definitely a lot of swag to him.
Yeah. I like to use the term back check, right? You're back checking. It's a hockey term, but it applies a lot. It's who's that forward? Who's that number 9? Who's the high press guy that, presses their defense inside the defensive, inside your attacking third, but yet gets all the way back to your high defensive third, right? To that center third, and makes life uncomfortable for the other guys. We're seeing a little bit of that in Joseph Paintsill now that he's at full speed. You're seeing a lot of that from him. I like what John Nelson is doing, coming up from that left back position and pushing up and making the other team's defense uncomfortable. I think it's those types of things, and coach can't come in and say, okay, you're the dog. It's got to be, you've got to find that. And I think the Galaxy floundered a little bit with 6-7 guys not in that locker room at the start of the season.
I was going to say, talking about the number 9, I mean, we had Mark Rogandino on last pod, and he talked about just what he's seeing is the one of the biggest problems this year has been the lack of a number 9, a lack of a focal point, and the importance of Dejan Joveljic last year. I mean, with Ricky out, Dejan scored 3 goals and had 1 assist, 4 goal contribution in the 4 game that Ricky was out. So he was massive, and I think we're starting to see now, at least in the last 90 or so, maybe 180 minutes, what a number 9, a functioning number 9 could look like with the LA Galaxy. We'll talk about the young lad's performance a little bit later.
Nazi?
We'll talk about Mr. Pele, right? That's Pele part 2.
Jesus God, I hope that comes to pass.
Hey, they share the same last name, and I'll leave it at that. But Tim, you talked a little bit earlier. You talked a little bit earlier, Tim, about just a little bit of I don't know if it was a lack of preparedness or just going to the season with a hangover, right? Was the term that you used. And it just seemed like the team was just not ready, whether it was roster wise or ready for the season, ready for everyone's best shot, right? Because we were going to get everyone's best game because we are the MLS defending champs or MLS Cup defending champs. So, but what do you think? Is there anyone? Is it fair to blame anyone? Is it a collective thing? I mean, we've seen, people blaming Kuntz, people blaming Vanny, people blaming the MLS salary cap. What do you think was the culprit of just the lack of preparedness coming into the season?
I think there's a couple of things, and I think one of the things that flabbergasted me, it didn't make sense, was trying to figure it out, is why you have 4 goalkeepers in the room. You have John McCarthy, who's now a 2-time winner of MLS Cup, right? Wins it with LAFC, goes down the street, wins it with the Galaxy. Why are there now 4 keepers in? If you're making Micovic, who is a young keeper and clearly was not ready for the spotlight, why'd you keep Micovic? And then you got JT, and then you got McCarthy. And why do you have so many goalkeepers in the room? If you were going to do anything, I think you sell John McCarthy at his peak, right? You have him move on, you make Micovic number 1, and you go from there, and you make your bed and you lay in it.
You burn the ships, right?
Yeah, you know what? There's smoke on the water, right? You burn the Nita, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. You say, okay, here's the deal. Here we're going with. I think it's a combination of that, and I think the MLS unfairly penalizes teams for winning MLS Cup. Now you look at the noisy neighbors up north, and they were still very competitive the next year after they won. But the reality is the Galaxy, their front half of their team was gutted. They took everybody. So I think the short window, what was it, 112 days, something like that, between MLS Cup and your first game or training camp? It's short. I mean, these guys,
it was very short.
50 games.
Yeah,
that's a lot. And so I think that was a lot of it. And I think the Galaxy were just ill prepared to go into that. And they made some changes. They were getting some players to fill a hole, but I don't think they did enough. I don't want to throw Kuntz under the bus here. I think it was multiple people, including the archaic MLS salary cap system.
Galaxy wins MLS Cup 2024 on December 7th, I believe. And then I remember quite clearly Ananda and I being at the CVI already in the beginning part of February. So it was about 60 days that the Galaxy had, probably even less than that, probably around 50-ish, because I believe they had to report to camp right after that. And they still had exit interviews after winning MLS Cup and stuff like that. So they probably only had around 50 to 55 days off.
Yeah,
but
that's
go ahead, Tim.
Yeah, it's not enough. I mean, you put in that type of time during the 2024 season, there's not enough time to recoup and put your head back together. You just want to sleep and have a couple of cervezas for a while, man.
I'm not a beer guy, but I know that a couple of G's out there do enjoy their modelos. But let's go ahead and talk about you for a second, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure.
Can we
Full
talk?
speed.
Can we talk? So we already mentioned Soccer in 60 a couple times. I mentioned, that I've been on a couple times. Thank you guys for having me. And that's your main gig. Tell us about Soccer in 60. How did it start? And what exactly Soccer in 60 covers.
Yeah, so Soccer in 60. Thanks for letting me talk about it for a minute. Very cool of you.
Man.
What it is, we do it live on Thursday afternoons. We record it on StreamYard, and so we podcast it. But
did you say
live.
We'll do it live?
We do it live. We do it live on KMET Radio. It's live every Thursday afternoon.
Nice.
Yeah, there's the logo for you guys that are on TV. And it's fun. We've got Christian Philly Philemon is the co-host with me, and he is the voice of the Empire Strikers, the indoor soccer team that plays out at the Toyota Arena in Ontario. And if you haven't seen indoor soccer live and in person, it is a hoot. Last game of last season, they put over 7,500 people in the stands. They play at the same place the Ontario Reign does. And it's a good time. So it actually came out from the owner of the Strikers want to have a radio show. And so I was the lead host for the first probably 10, 12 episodes. I did it with a guy named Lou. And then Lou wasn't a very big soccer guy. So we brought in Philly, and then we brought in a producer, Gunnar, who you know very well.
Shout out Gunnar.
And shout out Gunnar Burnt. And it's been great. We just had our 1 year anniversary with me and Philly just about 8 shows ago. So me and Philly are right at about 60 episodes together. It's weekly and it's a great show. And so we talk about everybody in LA. We talk LAFC, we talk the Galaxy, we talk the Empire Strikers. One of the Angel City chicks, Nina Kiefer, hops on most weeks for the Angel City segment. And then I'm a Orange County homer, so I do all the Orange County updates. And so we chase around all of the 5 major here in Greater LA. And it's a great time. Me and Philly get a good hoot out of it. Nina and I, we laugh a lot. So it's a very good time. And we have some pretty good guests on.
Like who? Like who's been your favorite guest that you've had on so far?
We've had a few guys. So we've had John McCarthy on. We've had John Nelson on. We've had Nate Diaz from LAFC on. We've had some of the coaches from Angel City. But out of all of them, and we've had some great Orange County guys. But I think one of the coolest people we've had was a new guy on Orange County named Nico Benalcazar. And he came on. He's new to the team. And we had a great time. We recorded the interview. We did about a 15, 18-minute interview with him. And then he sat on with me and Gunnar for another 40 minutes afterwards. And that was the recording we should have had, because that guy is just a hoot, man. New to the area, lives down in South Orange County, goes down to Laguna Beach all the time. And he's a good dude, man. You want to get a good guy to go just sit and hang out with and go have a sandwich with. Nico is a good dude.
Well, maybe Soccer in 60 starts an AV Alta section, and I could be that correspondent.
That would be fun.
I came up in the Lancaster area and hoping to go to my first AV Alta match this upcoming weekend and see what that's all about. I know that our good mate here on the show, Eli Lesser, went to the home opener, and man, did it look like it was a blast. So I can't wait for that. But the Soccer in 60, you mentioned that it has a live radio show. Where can they find you on the dial, and then where can they find you guys on the socials?
Yeah, so on the radio dial, we're on AM 1490, but the best way to catch it is actually on the download the KMET app, because then it's crystal clear, because most of the radio signal stops at right around Ontario-ish, so it's hard to get it in LA. But you can catch it on that. You can catch it on the Empire Strikers, and that's Strikers with a Y, on their Instagram page. We broadcast it live there. And then on YouTube, we run it. We've got it on the Empire Strikers YouTube page, and we're starting our own Soccer in 60 YouTube page. It should be up and running within the next week or so.
Vamos.
And then you can also catch it on all your podcast formats. You can catch it even on goofy ones like SoundCloud, but Spotify, everywhere you get your podcast, you can just search Soccer in 60, and it shows up better if you don't put any spaces in it. It shows up and it's great.
Y'all heard it, Guneros. Go ahead and support Tim and the crew over there at Soccer in 60. Like I said, go ahead and search Soccer in 60, all one word, no spaces, and it'll most likely come up for you that way. Pretty much on everything. So, like you said, even the goofy ones. What did you say? Like SoundCloud?
SoundCloud, yeah, it's funny. With KMET still pushes it to SoundCloud for us. And nobody listens to SoundCloud anymore.
Yeah, no, that is a funny one. But hey, I'm sure 2 or 3 people out there are still like faithful, and they're like, hey, you know what? We're gonna listen on SoundCloud, and they're enjoying their Soccer in 60 on SoundCloud.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
there's got to be a couple stragglers, right?
Well, I mentioned it on the show the other day, and Gunnar goes, "We're not on SoundCloud," and I'm like, "Dude, yeah, we are." It was pretty humorous.
Yeah, well, I mean, snaps. If Gunnar didn't know, I don't know. Maybe there aren't a couple of stragglers, but let's hit up the Galaxy talk again. We're gonna put you on the spot right here.
Sure.
There is half a season left. Our colleagues over there on the very, very awesome Corner of the Galaxy podcast, the Podfather, they're already doing math over there. We've been doing math already for a couple weeks, just because we've been that restless. Do the Galaxy make the playoffs?
No.
That's
Sorry.
a simple answer.
Yeah.
The initial reaction is no. It would be exceedingly difficult, and the reason why I say that is you're going to have to get 40 points to have a chance to be in that 9th spot, right? You're going to have to be right about 40 points, and you mentioned it, 17 games, and at 17 games times 3, that's 51. They're sitting on what, 7, right?
Yeah.
So you've got to get at least 34 points. You got to average a win and a draw and a loss every 3 games, right? And not even that. You got to get basically 2 points out of every match. And so you're going to have to go on a run. You're going to have to play really, really good football. And to do that, you've got to play like they did last year. Now, I think what they're going to do is they're going to be able to win at home. And they'll probably win at least half their games the rest of the way out at home. I think the way they play, even in this last game, the clearances out of the box are just not going far enough. They're only stopping at the 18, maybe to 20 yards out. You've got to clear that ball out. You got to just kick it into the stands. I don't care. Give them 50 throw-ins a game. You got to get the ball out, because there were at least 3 different times in this last match they cleared it to the 18 and there's nobody near them, and they get a free ripper on goal. And that's
because they don't close out quick enough, right?
Yeah, because they don't close out. They've got 4 or 5 guys back. You get it off the 6-yard box. You put it at the 18, and nobody's home. And so now you've got a reasonably clear shot on frame. And RSL just couldn't put. I mean, they have 20 shots and they put 4 on frame. A couple of them hit the post, things like that. But I think, honestly, to get to 40 points, 34 points in the next 17 games,
yeah,
I don't think it's going to happen. I want to see them make a run at it. I want to make it exciting. They've been very exciting their last 4 or 5 matches, and there's been some devastating losses. You mentioned it, the no shot on goal loss. That's just that one's that's kind of like taking castor oil, man. That one hard to get down.
Yeah.
But I think the reality is that you bring up a lot more of these younger guys. You have Matheus, you have Lucas, you have some of these younger dudes come up and start playing a lot more, get into that rhythm of playing with the older guys, right? Paintsill, Pooch when he comes back, but Pack. I mean, these are still a bunch of young dudes. I think you build for next season. I think that's what you really have to do. And there's going to have to be some hard decisions made towards the end of this season, and definitely in the off season, because it will be an early one for the Galaxy.
So that's basically what the Galaxy should do for the rest of the season. You don't think they should, try to make a move at all? I
think it's too hard. I don't think they have the assets to do it. I don't think they don't have the assets to go get a 20 goal score. I just don't. I think Paintsill is going to end up with probably 10 or 11 goals. I think Peck is going to get, 9 or 10. You're not going to have guys with, 15, 18 goals and 15 assists like you did last year. It's just not going to happen. They just don't have the firepower. They don't have the, they don't have, like Ananda said, they don't have that true number 9. They're going to get him. I think he was on the field this past weekend, but I don't think that, your number 9 is going to go get 7 or 8 goals and get, 15, 20 goal contributions.
I mean, we have talked about it. The lack of assets is pretty troubling. I mean, the Galaxy had to deal a bunch of players away just because they had to be cap compliant, and look where that has them. We do have a super chat. XPH, shout out. Thank you so much.
Finally changed his name back. Love it. Love it, XPH.
Had to XPH, or executive producer Herb, Tim, if you didn't know, introducing you guys now. Digital Shake But what was the handle?
Has the
Ananda?
Galaxy won? Has the Galaxy won a game yet? Was his handle, and so the Galaxy won, and now he's back to executive producer Herb, aka XPH. So shout out, man!
Mm.
Glad you changed your handle back. It was. I'm glad to see it back. But anyways,
Yeah, it was depressing because I was happy to see it because I was happy to see you, but at the same time I would read it and say no, and that would make me sad.
Yeah.
But he says, "Hey Tim, hi Ananda and Rob. In Galaxy fashion, they will go on a run and need only to lose by 1 goal on decision day and lose by 2 goals for the final nail on the coffin."
Oh, don't make me do 2021 all over again, please.
Oh man,
Not that again.
they don't even play Houston on the final day, but yeah, somehow Houston will be involved. Watch. Yeah. No, you're most likely correct, XPH. That's the unfortunate part about it, is that this Galaxy team, you think they've done everything to hurt you, and then they come out of nowhere and hurt you again. Well,
yeah, but I gotta say one thing, Rob. How many other teams would do everything the Galaxy did last year and want to be in the exact same position to come home with an MLS Cup? I can guarantee you there's 40 of them, right? And there's not 40 teams in the league. I think everybody in the league would give up an extra season to win another cup or win a cup, right? And the Galaxy
definitely
easy.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I don't want to be completely negative, but I tell you what, they won the cup. They're the defending cup champions, and until the last game of the season, they will still be defending, and they're going to still play. I mean, you could see the pain and anguish on the Galaxy's faces when they lost that game a couple of weeks ago. It was just not so much the earthquake game, but the weekend before,
San Diego.
It was just it was as if somebody stabbed them with the heart, cut out their heart, danced around in front of them, and threw it on the ground.
Oof.
And they were just
style.
Yeah. But I think they're going to play very well. I think they're going to end up with 6 or 7 wins. I think they're going to have they'll make a run, as it were. They'll win a couple 3 games in a row. They got this weekend off, so they're going to be able to rest and get back to it before they play St. Louis. But I think what's going to happen is they've had a good run of form lately. It just hasn't shown up on the scoreboard until now.
Well, they did give us something to smile about this
absolutely
this past weekend. So we do got to shout them out for that. But we do have to take a moment and remind you guys that we are giving away a picnic at the pitch experience for 2 lucky G's. We did call out the entrance instructions earlier. Go ahead and hit up lcgraffle@gmail.com, picnic 2025 in the subject. Go ahead and send us a screenshot with your name and the fact that you are subbed to this pod, and you are automatically entered to go ahead and go to Picnic at the Pitch and see the Galaxy play while snacking on some delectable treats. Go ahead and sub so you can be entered. Well, the Galaxy finally gave the fans something to smile about. But before they actually went out there and won on the pitch, I pulled up to this match, Tim, and I was very surprised that it was actually quite full. This parking lot was pretty cracking. It was, just walking around. I mean, I was there on Wednesday for San Jose, and of course it was a midweek match, but it was, even considering it was a midweek match, it was very, very dead in there, at least at the beginning. But as soon as you pulled up to the digs for this match, it seemed like there was a different vibe. Maybe it was Star Wars night, who knows? But my wife and I pulled up. We started walking up, and we saw this group. They were like the epitome of what a Galaxy tailgate should be. These folk were out there just hanging out, playing some good tunes, eating together, laughing together, win, lose, or draw. They tell me that they're out there. I do want to call out the fact that their name is Team Carne Asada. So I do love that. So shout out Team Carne Asada. They did invite me to come back. They were trying to get me to drink a couple of beers and shots, and I was like, I have to go up to the press box. I can't. But thank you so much.
I see that little setup they have there on the left. They're very, very nicely done.
Yeah, and I drew an arrow here, Tim, because I don't know if you know the Mexican bingo game Loteria, but there's a card on Loteria that's El Borracho, and it's basically the drunk or the drunkard, and they have a flag of El Borracho, and it was just. Oh man, it was so righteous. Like I told myself, Ananda, that when I take my one day off this year and I go to the match with my family, that I am definitely gonna go party with Team Carne Asada. They were just, man, they were the truth out there, man. They were having so much fun, and I can't wait to one day go back and party with them. So shout out to them for being so accommodating and being so hospitable as well. My wife hasn't really been going out to games, Tim, because things have been rough. And then, plus, I have to go to the press conference afterwards. She has to wait for me. So she's like, you know what? It's just all too much. And I finally convinced her to go to this match, and we meet Team Carne Asada, and she's like, see, I can come back for them. And I was like, yeah, Team Carne Asada is
she can come back because clearly she's good luck. So she's the good luck charm. She needs to come back next time.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know what? The Podfather took his daughter to the match, and I told him, I was like, she has to come back. Obviously, I mean the Galaxy one, she can't go anywhere. But you know what? I mean, I don't know if it was that combination of just like I said, the good vibes that I was feeling. Me meeting Team Carne Asada, it being Star Wars night, and people wearing awesome costumes. Maybe the bobblehead. Oh, I mean, JP looks pretty ill right there. Or
yeah, he does.
Maybe it was the fact that the Don Raul gave the pre-match speech to the team, but things just seemed different, Tim. I mean, did it seem different at all to you when you kind of got here in the atmosphere?
It did, and what I really have to credit the Galaxy fans is, and I've been chasing down everybody on social media and stuff like that, on X and everything, and Instagram, and one of the things that I've been very, very impressed by is just the sheer numbers that come out, like for this last weekend, 23,000 plus. I mean, it was packed. When you're packing Dignity Health Sports Park, that's a different vibe. When you get there and you see guys like Carne Asada and having out and hanging out, and you got to tap a fireball. I mean, God, how do you not want to just hang out for a couple of hours? But I think the difference with this game is that the fans and even the team could feel that they were playing much better. They were playing where things had to go their way, because there's been a few very, very unfortunate bounces that have just fallen the other way. And last year, the G's were getting those bounces. They were going their way. I mean, they were unbeatable in the second half. Even if they were down by a goal, you knew you were going to lose. This year and this game, I think that vibe came back to where the fans knew that something good was going to happen. And sure enough, it did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's because the Don spoke to him. The Don preached to him. And I'd like to think that I had a little something to do with this, Tim, because post match in San Diego, I had an opportunity to speak to Don Raul, and we had a little chat, and I told him, we're all behind the team. I know my family's still behind the team, and please send my well wishes to the team from my family. And that had to be it, right? That had to be it. So he transmitted that energy and then that pregame talk, and so indirectly it's kind of like I was the 12th man on the pitch, really. I think that's how that math works. But guys, I mean, it was tough going into this match. I mean, I'm gonna call foul on myself. I mean, I called the fact that the Galaxy were not winning this one, but they did. Playing in their second match in the span of 4 days, they finally get that win, a 2-0 shutout victory over RSL, just like Tim said, in front of over 23,000 fans. Lucas Sanabria and Joseph Paintsel both scored a goal, and Novak Micovic got the 4 saves that Tim said he did. Played a wonderful match, starting to emerge into the keeper Greg wants him to be. Earned his first win and first shutout of his career for the Galaxy. Other notable firsts on the night, y'all. The first multi-goal victory of 2025. Like I mentioned, first shutout of the season. First goal of the Galaxy for the Galaxy by Lucas Sanabria. First goal of the season by Joseph Paintsel. First assist by Matheus Nascimento. First win by Micovic. And the first win for this Galaxy faithful at the Digs this year. And really, we've spoken about Micovic a couple times already, but I really want to get back to him because this guy was just slaughtered after the first couple of games. And in this one, he set the tone early. I've in my article that I wrote about this match, I said that Micovic in the defense led the way, and really I want to put the spotlight more on Micovic because, like Tim correctly points out, the defense still lets 20 shots rip towards goal, and a combination of good shot stopping plus positioning plus being assured lets Micovic go ahead and get the shutout in this one. So he sets the tone in this one, guys, by getting that one-on-one save on Diego Luna to go ahead and just change the trajectory of the match. We've already seen what happens when the Galaxy concedes a first goal, but Micovic comes up with that save, and not a short time later, Matheus Nascimento, who let's be face it, has looked great in both starts. Unlucky not to get a goal last game. He's again lively in this one. He's playing with his back to goal. He gets a pass, kind of dummies it to himself, like Tim said, and he sets up Lucas Sanabria for the first Galaxy goal of the night on 17 minutes. And it's pretty much an easy tap in for Sanabria, but it's one that he's going to be super happy to get. This is a guy as well who came in, didn't know the language, didn't know the system, and then he breaks his collarbone, and people were expecting him to, just come out and just run the show, dictate the midfield. I mean, it's funny how now that, he's gotten a couple of games in the side and he's a little more settled, he's starting to play a little bit more like the Galaxy player that they thought they were getting. So first half ends, and then Joseph Paintsel gets that lucky bounce that Tim was talking about, and he gets it on his right foot and he just blasts it away for the 2-0. And that's his second goal across all competitions, but first one in the league this year. Now the Galaxy is unbeaten in the last 9 versus RSL. And Jesus, this one hurts as well, Nanda. It's the first shutout for the Galaxy in league play since August 24th to 2024. If there was I guess a red card to this match, it is that Edwin Cirio got a yellow card, and he won't be available for the June 14th match against St. Louis City.
Rob, August 24th was Marco Royce's debut. That was the 2-0 where he came in and completely changed that game. That is nuts. Yeah.
Let's call this out because this is important and this is big. We talk about what the Galaxy does wrong. We talk about what the Galaxy does right, and this is an example of them doing right. Raul G says Tom, Will, and Uriel were all meeting with fans, listening to our concerns. Cool dudes. You got to respect this because a lot of people would hide if their team was going through an epic 16-game winless run. Instead, Tom, Will, and Uriel were out there meeting with fans and giving face, and that's big man energy right there, man. It's like,
yeah,
hey, you know what? Like they don't have to do any of that.
Rob, that doesn't surprise me because we've had, fortunately 2 of them on this particular pod, and they, like you said, they will show face. They're very personal people. I'm just glad we have this front office that we do now, because we've seen others in the past maybe be not so transparent with the fans, right?
And I saw Uriel on the way out, and he just looked that mixture of just relieved, satisfied, happy, just it's kind of the look I get after I have an In-N-Out double. But like this is how he looks.
Fair.
And shout out to Uriel. They work really hard, just as much as a player. So I know they have as much vested in this as they do. But it's just a definite lift. But let's talk about how they actually got there, guys. We started with a largely unchanged lineup, except for Diego Fagundes comes in for the injured Marco Reus. Tim, same lineup, like I said. What'd you think?
I kind of liked it. With Marco Reus being out, you got to do something. And I've said it on our show that Diego Fagundes, I think, is my key to this entire team. I think the ball, in the absence of Ricky Puig, I think Fagundes has got to get the ball on his feet because I think he's a very solid distributor. I think Cerrillo is very good at that spot where he started in. But I really like Fagundes. I really like the fact that he got in and he played well in this match. But I think that the best way to get the Galaxy to continue on this path is to keep getting Fagundes in there and getting him the ball. I think he's really one of the key contributors to this. I think him playing off of John Nelson like he did, especially when Nelson went up to get the second assist, for lack of a better word, on the Sanabria goal. I think those guys have a good communication level. And I think with Fagundes getting in there, I think it makes sense. I like him more the central player versus on the wing, on the left side. But I think he played really well with John behind him.
Ananda, what did you see in this one? What are the stats that contributed to this win here?
Yeah, let me pull that up now. So I'm just going to pull up the final box score here, guys. So yeah, I think it was a very interesting game. I think you guys have mentioned it a couple times with sort of the shot discrepancy between both teams. Here's an interesting part about that, though, guys, if you kind of parse that a little bit out. So as you guys rightly said, Salt Lake had 20 shots and the Galaxy only had 9. Although shots on goal, 5 on goal for the Galaxy, 4 on goal for Salt Lake. And here's an interesting stat here. 9 of Salt Lake's shots were blocked. So you could say that from that stat alone, like the Galaxy, credit to the Galaxy for getting stuck in, credit to the Galaxy for at least trying to, whether they were long range shots or even, I remember there was one in the box early in the first half. I mean, they got out to it, right? 9 block shots. I couldn't have said that maybe earlier on the season, but these last 4 or 5 games, like I do remember Josh pulling up a stat that we've scored first in the last 4 out of the last 5 games, with the only one being San Jose in that when we got shut out at home on Wednesday. So, I mean, we're seeing positive signs, and this is another one for me. And I think that stat overall, Rob, stuck out. Everything else was pretty even. The possession was pretty even. The passes, the pass accuracy. So, and you look at the expected goals, like Salt Lake had 20 shots, but in the end, I mean, they only had 0.4 expected goals, and they only had 3 big chances. In fact, 2 of those were after 90 minutes plus. I don't know if you guys remember that free header in about the 90th minute in the box. That was a huge chance that went wide. And then, of course, the other chance there hit the post in the dying minutes. So to be fair, both teams really had 1 big chance each in sort of those key moments. And again, Micovic came up with the stop, right? That was I think that was, we'll talk about it later, if that was the inflection point of the game so early on. But Rob, I think one of the key talking points that we wanted to talk about after this game was, look, we played a pretty good 90-minute game. Nothing too much different other than no mistakes. We didn't shoot ourselves in the foot, which is great to see. That's sort of an Achilles heel of this Galaxy team, even, earlier on, not just this season as well. But we finally got the bounces going our way. Our slice of luck finally came, Rob. You remember even on Nasi's goal, I urge everyone that's listening right now, everyone in chat, go look at that goal again, because he dummies it, but it flicks off the defender perfectly in his path. So all he had to do was just touch it touch it back. I don't know if you noticed that. I saw it again. I was like, oh man, that was a little lucky, but hey, we're going to take that luck, right? Sometimes you need those bounces to go your way. You talked about it on JP's goal, Rob. The defender tackles it, but the ball bounces right back in JP's path. Past the defender, all he had to do was just finish it top bins, which he did. And of course, let's not
blessings.
Blessings. I see what you did there. Perfect. And of course, guys, remember RSL hit the post not only once but twice. They hit it earlier on in the first half. Gozo had that chance, but it luckily goes off the post. On another day earlier this season, those go in. Like those bounces completely go in, and so you need that slice of luck. And hopefully, I'm just praying. I don't know where my garlic cloves are and my bag of garlic, but hopefully we pray and we do the seance, and that continues on for the rest of the season. Because you guys have mentioned it. I think we've played pretty well, especially the last 5. Just our bounces haven't gone our way until this match here.
Tim, was this like Ananda says, just like good slices of luck that finally went the Galaxy's way, or was this the best game that they've played all season?
I think the LAFC game was the best game they played all season. I think this one, again, I think it was opportunistic. Ananda says it perfectly. Earlier in the season, those posts, they don't hit on the outside, they hit on the inside of the post, and they're in the back of the net.
Yeah.
I think the reality on this one was they played well enough to win, and you mentioned it. The inflection point was at 2 minutes and 35 seconds into this game when Micovic gets that save. There's no other way. If that's a finish by Gozo, it's 3-0 the other way. I think that when the team saw Micovic make that save, they thought, okay, now we're good to go. We're winning this game, because you give up that goal, and the other reality is about 30 seconds later, the Galaxy come right back down the field and they get a shot on goal within 30, 40 seconds of the Micovic save. So it could have easily been immediately right after that 1-0 Galaxy going the other way. So the inflection point, 2 minutes, 35 seconds into this match, Micovic makes it.
And Micovic, we've spoken about him a lot tonight. I mean, the other big contributors in this one, I mean, that certainly opened things up at the very least for the Galaxy earlier are these men on the screen here, Nascimento and as well as Sanabria. Of course, Joseph Pinto got his goal in the second half, but these 3 really set the springboard for them. Tim, you were mentioning that the Galaxy should kind of pack it in and look towards next season, and are these the guys to kind of build around?
I think so. I think you've got a core group of guys that you still have a whole flock of dudes that are still young, right? You lose some of these guys because the under 22 initiative and salary cap and all this other stuff, things like that. But I think if the team is able to keep guys like Paintsil and Pooch and Peck, and then the 3 guys on the screen, I think the Galaxy are going to be in for a very good run for a very long time. The window's not closed. Normally there's not these dynasties, especially not in MLS. But I think with these 3 guys on the thing, if you can keep Micovic's confidence high, I think he's a very high quality goaltender. I think the lights were a little too bright the first 3 matches. And now that he's come in, he's gotten a great save, right? And that could change his career. Literally, that one save could change his career. Now that he got the 2-0 win, he's able to go out and say, yep, okay, now we can sit on this. We've got a week's worth of rest. Let's build on it. Absolutely. I think these are the types of things, and this is the type of game that, while I don't believe they're playoff bound, I believe there will be very, very highly competitive, and they'll get to 6 or 7 wins. I totally see that. I see at least 6 or 7 wins throughout the rest of the season. So packet it in, they're not going to pack it in. But what they're going to do is they're going to play very well, and I bet you they're at least 500 the rest of the way out.
Rob, one of my favorite moments in the post match presser with Maya was going back to Micovic. He said, I don't know why I'm out here. It should be Lucas or Micho out here talking to you guys, but Novak's kind of a shy boy, right? And everyone kind of chuckled, and that's one of the things I think the sort of the personality, the room for improvement, the headroom for Micovic is just learning to be that a little bit more commanding, a little bit more like communicative, at least from a presence standpoint, right? With goalkeepers, you always talk about this word presence. And I think that's his ceiling. And once he does that, man, because he's got all the tools. And I think one of the things too is maybe this is like, I don't know if you guys noticed this or maybe it's just me, but I think earlier on the season, sort of the variance or the erratic, I guess, nature between Micovic and Garces, I think that destabilized the back four a little bit. Versus you have a guy like Zanka in there, but maybe, yes, he's also prone to a mistake, but he's maybe a little bit more of a veteran presence, a stabilizing force for Micovic. So maybe that's in play too, because I see that trio now with Zanka, Maya, and Micovic, and they're starting to communicate well together. They're starting to kind of feed off each other a little bit better these last few games. So I think he's got to be the keeper for the rest of the year, man. It'll be interesting, though, to see what happens with McCarthy. He's on his last year of his deal, so one to watch out for there.
Well, look, you got to look at it like this. If, in fact, they get to a point where the Galaxy are mathematically eliminated, they accept, hey, it's there's no playoffs this year, and even before that, I mean, if, in fact, Greg wants Micovic to be the goalkeeper for the Galaxy, like he's mentioned, for the future, then yeah, you're gonna have to play him. I mean, this year is borderline a wash already. I mean, not mathematically. Like I said, I still have some kind of hope that they'll go on a miracle run.
Hope that kills you, Papa. Hope that kills you.
17-game unbeaten road. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's only 17 games, but 18-game win streak in a row. That includes playoffs too. So no, but I mean, you have to play them, right? Because in what's left of the year, you're gonna find out one of two things. Yes, this is my guy for the future, or no.
Correct.
Or no, we have to cash in. We spent $1 million on him. Yes, he has a good skill set. Yes, we rate him highly, but he's not our goalkeeper of the future, and we have to move on. And you're going to find that out. You're not going to find that out by playing John McCarthy. I love J Mac. I think he's a great guy. But if this sport is now so much of a business that, as you know, we have that perception it to be, and winning is that business, then yeah, you got to set yourself up by finding out if Micovic is that goalkeeper for you for the future. But before the Galaxy even get to the future, we got to find out, can the G's build upon this? I mean, Tim, you're of the opinion that the Galaxy aren't making the playoffs. I still have a little bit of hope mathematically. It's still alive. Ananda, I don't think he'll actually say it, but I think he's right there along with me in my camp. But it's hard to get excited. Even though the pop at the digs after the win was as loud as MLS Cup,
This Is LA was also as loud as ever. I that thing was blasting.
Yeah,
it was nice to hear though. Finally,
yeah, no, yeah. It was great. But the pundits on the MLS after show very wisely. It seems like even when the Galaxy are bad, everybody just wants to talk about the Galaxy, right? So the pundits, understandably, we're talking about them, and we had some ex-Galaxy players kind of sounding off on or player sounding off on the state of the Galaxy and their win.
Why are we still talking about the Galaxy? We said their season's over.
The season's not over. It's impossible. It's not impossible. It's definitely not impossible.
It's not impossible. Okay, let's say they need to get to 40 points, right? Minimum 40.
Yes. Houston and Ninth are on 20 points. So let's say 40 points to sneak.
Okay, so that's 33 more points they need in 17 games.
What did they do in the final 17 games last season? They won 12 games.
That was last season with Ricky Puig and Dejan Joveljic and Mark Delgado.
Yeah.
Not the same team.
But they could have Ricky Puig back for a stretch for maybe the final 10 games or so of the season.
They would need to win multiple games in a row. They would need to hope the teams above them lose.
You know how the momentum can shift within a locker room, Bradley. You've been there before.
It can, but I look at the top teams in the league now at the moment. Top of the East, the Union. The most they've won is 3 games in a row. Vancouver, the most they've won is 4 games in a row. Why are Galaxy all of a sudden
like you were saying, Tim?
You're saying the Galaxy have to have a second half of the season that is the exact same as the supporter shield leaders right now.
It's going to be tough.
Philadelphia, 10 wins, 4 draws, 3 losses. Why not? Why not for this group?
Because they're not good.
I get what you're
That's
saying.
why.
We're talking about MLS Cup champions for the majority of them. I'm looking at these next 5 games, and I'm saying, why not if you're the LA Galaxy?
Because defensively, they're imposters.
To be fair,
they got a clean sheet for the first time this season. They conceded 20 shots to a bad Real Salt Lake team. They've conceded 36 goals this year, 7 more than any other team.
You were on a horrendous Atlanta United team last year, and what did you do?
Dax is upset.
Right. We never went 16 games without winning a game.
You still made
It's
the playoffs.
embarrassing.
You need to go some decision.
You need to go to their locker room and have this talk. That'll pump anyone up.
It's not impossible. It's not impossible. I will agree with you there. It's not impossible. They are going to have to go on a historic run, and I'd say it's highly, highly unlikely, highly improbable. And if they continue to defend like they are defending, they are not going to win games on the road. They will win games at home. They are good at home. Greg Vanney is right in a sense that there have been games where they have been
at home this season.
They have been unfortunate, but they will win games at home. Once they're designated players cannot play worse.
Guys, they
will be better, for sure.
They beat Real Diego Luna.
Agreed.
They make the playoffs. I'll shave my head, dye it blonde, and cut them
Get him.
off. Okay?
Get him.
Now I want you to make the playoffs.
Come on,
Please,
Galaxy.
Come on, Galaxy.
Get him.
They won't do it, but I would like to.
Hey, Ananda. I think just for the simple reason that I want to see that man shave his head and go blonde. I mean, I wonder what. Oh, that's what that would look like.
Kind of.
That's not my picture. I mean, he ran that on his own social. Yeah. But I mean, I think he looks better. Personally, that's just me though.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, they made a lot. They made a lot of valid points. Things we've already been talking about on this pod. Things that you mentioned, Tim. They're going to have to be pretty flawless the rest of the way.
Yeah, I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah,
I hope I'm wrong. I hope the Galaxy go 15 of the next. I mean, you've got some very winnable games. You know, St. Louis, very winnable game. Colorado, strong game. It's at Dick's, Sporting Goods Park.
Altitude,
San Jose, they should beat. Vancouver, that's going to be a tough one.
That's tough.
DC United, Austin, they always play Austin. Austin's a weird team, man. They always play them weird. LAFC, they showed that they could beat LAFC. They were just unfortunate that on that last offside call, because that's borderline, and that's another thing that we could get all weird with is, offside technology that MLS does not have, even though San Diego paid $500 million to come into the league. You'd think they'd go over to Europe and get the Premier League system for
they don't have the money for
$4 or $5 million. Yeah, they don't have the money.
They don't have the money for it, Tim.
Yeah.
The only thing that heartens me is that yes, it is true. 47 points were the magic number to get into the 9th spot in 2024, but in 2023, that number was 44. In 2022, that number was 43. So, if you want to be the optimist about it, you say, okay, cool, it's 43, right? Let's say the magic number is 43. So, let's do my math here. What do they need? 36 points.
Yeah,
so that's
12 wins. 12 wins.
12 out of 17. It's doable, gentlemen. It's doable. It is doable. Like Dax finally said at the end, it's not impossible. It's improbable. But I've said all year, this Galaxy team has shown me this, right? They haven't shown me that they're going to get that 12 of 17. But like Tim says, I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah. Well, to me, I think that the must wins, quote unquote, like I know some people have kind of been looking at it home versus away, etc. To me, it's because you got to have two things go your way. You've got to get 3 points, and then you've got to knock off someone who's in that spot or above you to drop 3 points. So essentially, if you're going head to head against them, those are your quote unquote 6-pointers, right? So I'm looking at St. Louis, they're above us. Austin, they're above us. Houston, they're above us. I think Colorado's in 8th or 9th spot. They're about San Jose as well. Those are all quote unquote 6-pointers, guys. So those are all huge games. Let me add this as well. Playing at St. Louis in mid-June at 1:30 p.m., 3:30 local time is not going to be easy. Houston in the middle of July or the end of July with that humidity at 6:30 or 7:30 local time. Again, when we analyze those matches, those have to be factors. Colorado in that altitude is always a problem. So yes, on paper they're winnable. We have to win them, but then you layer in all the different factors. It's going to be tough, guys. It's going to be really, really tough, and we'll see what the Galaxy are made of.
Yeah, well, like the players themselves have said multiple times, they need to take it game by game. Fortunately, you know, they have a chance to collect themselves over the next 2 weeks. Tim, something that we do on this show, I know that Soccer in 60 does the 11. We do defending the badge, which is the Galaxy player that maybe didn't play the best, but defended the colors, defended the shirt, the badge in the best way. We have 4 candidates here, and you don't have to pick any of these 4. But we have Nascimento, Painso, Micovic, and Sanabria. Who would be your defending the badge winner for this week?
Doesn't have to be that selection as well. Could be someone else.
Yeah, no, I'm going to go with one of the 4 on the screen. It's bottom left. It's Micovic. I think really, truly that he turned that game around 3 minutes into this match. I think without that, I think the Galaxy kind of hang their heads a little bit, and there's another one within the next 10, 15 minutes against him. He makes that save. They immediately go down and get a very quality chance, good shot on goal. I think that's my winner for this week.
We have Tim going with Novak Micovic as defending the badge winner. We have GCam out there, who I was lucky enough to be able to give a nice hearty hug to pregame. Maybe that's why they won Ananda, because GCam and I were able to come together. He says John Nelson, hands down. Tim was also calling out John Nelson for a good performance earlier. What
about you, man? No, I was gonna say, what about you? You're asking first. No, but you're asking all the questions, so someone's got to ask you a question, Papa.
Okay, ask me the question.
Who is your defending the badge for the 2-0 win against RSL? Someone on the screen?
Yeah,
I don't think so. Was it?
It is. It is okay. Actually. Well, you know, I always want to shout out the Galaxy supporters, because they suffered long, and man, they really deserve it. They stuck with this team the whole time, and you know what, they really didn't have to, or you know, it was a long time. It would have been understandable had you know it escalated. But anyway, yeah, man, besides the Galaxy supporters, I'd probably have to go Nascimento. I mean, the Galaxy attack has just looked a lot more fluid since he's come into that starting role. There's been a couple of times this season where Greg has called Christian Ramirez out for not being where he needs to be in the transition in the attack. You know, I've seen it a couple times where the attack has to kind of slow down its transition to allow Christian to get into the play. And Nascimento has shown a little bit more mobility, allowing them to get out and run, basically. And I do like the fact that he actually gets back and defends as well and pressures as well. He was pretty aggressive about it in the last match, threw his body about a little bit. So, you know, Greg said he doesn't have to win every single ball in the air. He just has to, you know, contest it and you know, make it a challenge for the other team. And yeah, he's certainly not winning them all, but he's definitely making it a challenge and throwing his body around. So that's mine, Nascimento.
Yep. Anandita. Well, mine's not on the screen, and I'm going to shout him out again because we haven't really mentioned his name at all this whole entire podcast, and I want to shout him out again because I shouted him out last pod. For me, it's Edwin Cerillo, man. You know, you guys I think the Galaxy fans would say, or as the kids would say these days, he's got that dog in him. Edwin Cedillo, if you talk about defending the shirt, like wearing the, defending the colors, defending the crest, you remember that little skirmish at the end there with him and Diego Luna, and the benches got up. Zonka, I think he was Zonka got with it. It was interesting. I was there. Zonka was talking smack to the assistant coaches and to Mastroeni for a hot minute. And I think that boiled over too towards the end of the game. And he was like pointing at either the assistants or the referee, saying, don't effing touch me. You guys can fill in the blank there. But it got heated. But Edwin Cedillo,
like action, boss.
But Edwin Cedillo, just he does not back down. He defends his teammates. I think that was boiling over from a few plays. I think Diego Luna and some of the guys there got a little rough with his teammates, and he defended his teammates. Man, he was the first one there. He's not afraid of a challenge, Rob. He's not afraid of a tackle. And on top of that, I thought this game again. I urge you guys next time, if you're at the digs for a home match, watch Edwin Cedillo for a good 10-15 minutes. The way he communicates, the way he just sets everyone up. He's starting to be, I think he learned a lot from Gaston Brugman and Mark Delgado last year, guys, because I've noticed his communication levels have stepped up massively. He was clapping Micovic when he made good decisions. He was talking to Micovic to say, okay, do you want me higher up, or do you want me to drop in a 3 when we build out based off of how RSL is playing us? I think all those little things are just, I think that's the next level, the next step of progression in Edwin Cedillo's game, because I think technically he's outstanding as a number 6. So, man, for me, it's Edwin Cedillo, man. He's got that dog in him. Love it.
You did call out that little tussle. I was a little disappointed in that play because the way the Galaxy season has gone this year. I mean, that's any other in another game. They give him a red for the little kick out, right? Because that's the kind of season that the Galaxy.
It was building though. The ref didn't really help. Like if you watch the progression of that, yeah, it was building. Look,
sure,
maybe a little petulant. It may be a little petulant.
Wouldn't have cared though.
But you know what? I side. I'd rather have my players show that passion versus kind of letting it go. But that's just me.
No, yeah, I mean, me too. However, refs probably wouldn't have seen it that way. I mean, I think he's a little lucky that one isn't, reviewed back. I mean, because he doesn't get him, but definitely the little kickouts there.
Yeah, well, the ref probably missed the elbow to the face right before that too. You got to watch that play again, man. I'm telling you. Yeah, Diego Luna, elbow right to the face of Edwin Cedillo, and that's why he reacted the way he did. That was retaliation. You're right. If the ref would have caught the second play, we know these MLS refs sometimes, but it is what it is. But like I said, I think I look at that 90 minutes and Edwin Cedillo, man, he's like I said, he's got a future captaincy in him, I think.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully, like we all say, from your lips to the Lord's ears, and he continues to have these matches. You're right. I'm gonna have to go back and see that play. I didn't catch the elbow. I just caught.
Yeah, I was right there behind that bench. Yeah, so I saw it pretty clearly. It was good.
Tim, Galaxy have 17 matches left. Are there any matches here that you're really looking forward to?
Yeah, there's a few. I always want to see how a team plays against the best team in the league, and it's right now anybody can talk about Inter Messi, you can talk about the other guys, but I really want to see that first week of July against Vancouver. I think they're going to play well against St. Louis. I think they beat Colorado. I think they beat San Jose, and if they've got, if you got 3 wins and a tie coming into that Vancouver match, I'd be really interested to see how that goes, because with this last win, they've got a couple of weeks to prep for St. Louis and Colorado. I think they could easily beat 3 wins and a draw going into the Vancouver match.
Mm-hmm.
And you talk about getting to 47 points, right? 46 points. I think that's your litmus test. If they play Vancouver and they play Vancouver to a draw or sneak out a win at home, I think that's a big match. I think that's a one you circle on the menu.
Yeah, it's a huge stretch at home. 3 games at home, man. That's a huge stretch right there. Yep, 3 games
Yeah,
away,
right?
3 games at home. Yep.
Because you come home after being on the road, which, St. Louis, not an easy place to play, not the worst place to play,
No,
but
yeah.
not easy. Colorado, you got, you're at 5,300 feet of elevation, a little tough, and then you got to go play at San Jose. It's always difficult playing on the road. It's always a zoo, but you got 3 on the road, and then you come back for 3 at home, and you get a win against Vancouver, or at least a draw. Look out, man. There could be a run. I'm not saying they're going to go 15-0-2, but they could definitely make it fun. They could definitely make it interesting, getting out of the bottom of the table.
Yep. Well, it would be all time if they did go 15-0-2. They have some winnable matches coming up. They also, like you mentioned, have 3 games on the road, 3 games at home. That's going to be the longest home stretch the Galaxy have had this year. So they're definitely going to be enjoying those home comforts. Heading into this last half of the season, guys, let's look at where the Galaxy are in the standings. After 17 matches, the Galaxy has a 1-12-4 record, 15 goals for, 36 goals against on 7 points, 0.41 points per game, and negative 21 goal differential. So 15th in last place in the West, 13 points back from 19th from 9th place though. So technically, again, is the math there? Is it doable? Yes, it's doable. The Galaxy do have their next match against the team directly above them in 14th place. They would close the gap to 4 points if they go ahead and get that win. So it's the beginning of the fight back if you're an optimistic Galaxy fan. We want to thank our guest, Tim, for joining us today. Guys, go ahead and check out Soccer in 60. That comes on your radio dial, and go ahead and Tim, remind them where they can find you guys on the radio dial.
Yeah, we're on KMET 1490 AM out of the Inland Empire. We're on at Thursdays, 4:00 in the afternoon. We're live most of the time. And then catch us on the podcast where we podcast that thing up by about 10 after 5 every Thursday. And we're on every podcast. We're on the Strikers Instagram channel, and we're also on YouTube. So check us out everywhere. We record the show just like you guys do. So you can see my smiling face and Philly as well every Thursday.
Shout out to everybody at Soccer in 60. I have told the anecdote here on this pod that Philly did us a great kindness by shouting out Tranquilo Davila when he passed. So shout out to everybody at Soccer in 60. Thank you, Tim, for coming on and hanging out with us, talking some Galaxy soccer. Ananda, anything else to add, man?
Nope. Just everyone enjoy your 2-week breaks, guys. Remember, we'll post all the full details tomorrow morning. But remember, if you guys want to hang out at Picnic at the Pitch, this is an awesome event. I mean, you guys get to see. You're in the middle of training. I think the event starts at 10 in the morning, so you're there. There's food and bev, and you get to see the players train. And then I think they will. I don't know if boozy brunch is on the menu. I have no idea. Because I've never been, unfortunately. But one of you lucky listeners and chatters will get to see them. But yeah, then the players come over and you can hang out. So yeah, definitely, guys. Again, we will post all the details tomorrow morning. But if you didn't catch that, go ahead and rewind. I think we mentioned it twice at the top of the show and then in the middle there. It's really awesome. And again, for Rob and I, this is just a thank you. We just wanted to give back really to you guys, to the community. I mean, almost 200 shows in, guys. We're almost at 600 subs. I mean, this has been an amazing ride these last 3 seasons. Again, we just wanted to say thank you and rock on. So that's it, Papa. Dale.
Get your entrances in there, guys. Make sure you have a chance to go hang out at Picnic at the Pitch. Coming up on this humble little pod on Thursday, June 5th, we'll bring you a mid-season review of sorts with our friend LA Galaxy 310, aka Lex Avila. He has been on the show before. We had a lot of fun, so we're going to bring him back. He will be a guest for show 199 and then for show 200. You know him, you love him. His name is Y'all thought I was going to tell you. Nah, you guys just have to keep tuning in. But that'll be happening a week from today on Monday, June 9th. Show 200 with our very special guest. I did give you a hint at the top of the show. His nickname is that of an animal. So
And then we'll
if
have,
you know.
Yeah, if you know, you know. And then you have Michele Giannone back on next Thursday, right, Papa? Before
Exactly.
St. Louis. So it'll be good to have him on. Yeah.
Show 201 will be Michele Giannone. If you think you know who our special guest for Show 200 is, go ahead and call it in the comments. Go ahead and send us an email. If you get it right, we'll figure out maybe a couple of sticker packs to send you or something like that. But yeah, we'll figure it out. If you think you know, go ahead and let us know. For our special guest of the night, Tim, for my co-host Ananda, and for myself, Rob, thank you guys so very much for getting us to show 198. We couldn't have done it without you guys. We're on the march, just 2 more to 200, and man, it's been, like Ananda said, a beautiful ride, and we can't wait to see you on Thursday for show 199. Only one thing left to say. That's Vamos Campeones, LA Strong, and G